Welcome to the presentation on alligation. So let's get started. Question 1 asks, how many grams of 2.5% hydrocortisone cream should be mixed with 480 grams of 0.25% cream in order to make 1% hydrocortisone cream? We can start off by writing 1% in the center here because that's what we're trying to find. And we can put 2.5% cream on the top left while putting the 0.25% cream on the bottom left. By using the crisscross method, we can take 2.5 minus 1%, which will equal to 1.5 parts of the 0.25% cream. Do the same for the other number by taking 1% minus 0.025%, which will equal to 0.75 parts of the 2.5% cream. Since these are in decimals, we can take both of these numbers and divide it by 0.75 to get whole numbers. So 1.5 also divided by 0.75 will get you 2. So now it's a 1 to 2 ratio, which are much easier numbers to deal with. And we know from the problem that 2 parts equals to 480 grams. So what does 1 part equal to? By solving for x, we get 240 grams. This is of the 2.5% hydrocortisone cream that is needed in order to make 1% hydrocortisone cream. And that is your answer. After completing your alligation calculation, it is important to go back and double check to make sure you did your calculation correctly. One way to check your calculation is first to add up the 2 parts that you found. So 1 part plus 2 parts equals to 3 parts. Next up, since 1 part is associated with the 2.5% hydrocortisone cream, you just take 1 part and multiply by 2.5%, and that will equal 2.5%. Now take 2 parts and multiply that by the 0.25%, and that will equal 0.5%. Now add up the 2 percentages together. 2.5% plus 0.5% will equal to 3%. Now you take the 3% that you found and divide that by 3 parts. This should equal to 1%, which is the percentage of the hydrocortisone cream that you're trying to find. And since it is 1%, you did your calculation correctly. Question number 2. How many milliliters of 45% weight per volume dextrose solution and how many milliliters of 5% weight per volume dextrose solution are required to prepare 5 liters of 10% weight per volume solution? Let's start off by putting 10% in the center because that's what we're trying to find. Then we can put 45% on the top left and 5% on the bottom left. By using the crisscross method, we take 45 minus 10, which equals to 35, which is the parts of the 5% solution. Now take 10 minus 5, which equals to 5, and that is the parts of the 45% solution. Now we want to add the 2 parts together to get the total. 35 plus 5 equals to 40 parts of the 5 liters we're trying to find. Make a note that 5 liters equals 5,000 mLs. Let's do 1 part at a time, and let's pick 5 parts of the 45% solution and set it up as such. Multiply by 5,000 mLs and divide that by 40 parts. And you will get 625 mLs. Of the 45% dextrose solution. Now for the 35 parts of the 5% solution, you also multiply by 5,000 mLs and divide that by 40 parts as well. And you will get 4,375. That's ml of 5% dextrose solution, which we can short for DS. So your answer is you will need 625 mLs of 45% dextrose solution and 4,375 mLs of 5% dextrose solution in order to prepare 5 liters of 10% weight per volume dextrose solution. Again, you want to go back to double check your work. I'll show you a different method to check your calculation. First up, you add up the 625 mLs that you found earlier and add that to 4,375 mLs. This should equal to the 5,000 mLs. Make a note that 45% solution can also be written as 45 grams over 100 ml solution. That goes the same for 5% solution, also written as 5 grams over 100 ml solution. Next, you take 625 mLs and you multiply it by 45 grams over the 100 ml solution. The answer should be 281.25 grams. Do the same for 4,375 mLs. Multiply it by 5 grams and divide it by 100 ml solution. You should get 218.75 grams. Now add up the 2 grams together, 281.25 plus 218.75. This should equal to 500 grams. And since you want your answer in a percentage, you want to start out with the 100 mLs and multiply it by 500 grams and divide that by the 5,000 ml solution. And your answer should be in 10 grams of the 100 ml solution, which is 10%. And that's how you know that you did your calculation correctly.